I bought a Nissan Skyline R32 at the age of 20. It was my dream car. At the time, I was one of the few people who even owned an R32. I'm from the Chicagoland area, so there weren't a lot many others out there. There was probably like two or three cars. But the Nissan Skyline was a car that, as soon as I got hooked onto it, I absolutely needed one. But here's the golden question. Do I regret buying a Nissan Skyline R32? Let's dive into it. So before you guys come at me in the comments, I get it. We are drifting an R33 Skyline. This is actually the car that I prefer over the R32 at this point. If I were to get back into a Skyline, I would go R33. But that's for a different video. That's for a different time. This is talking about my R32. So if we rewind back in 2016, I was 20 years old and I bought a Nissan Skyline. It was imported from Japan. I actually remember I drove down to Virginia with my brothers. We actually put in an order for the car to have it shipped over to myself, but I couldn't hold it. I needed the car. I wanted to drive it, so we decided to hop in the car and go check it out. So we end up in Virginia. I see the Nissan Skyline for the first time, and I was amazed. That feeling of being able to see your dream car, the car you want, right in front of you and it's yours, that feeling, you only feel that a few times in your life. But why the R32 Skyline? So when I was in high school, I came across an anime called Initial D. And that was where the craze of the Skyline started for me. I remember watching the anime, and when they introduce Nakazato Skyline, that just had me hooked. The car just had so much presence in the show. It was known as this car that has amazing grip, inline six, a legend in Japanese motorsports. As soon as I found out about it, I was hooked. Yes, growing up, I did watch the Fast and Furious movies, and sure, you could attribute Paul Walker to the image that the Skyline had in my head, but no, there was something about the R32 that just did it for me, and that was the one that I had my eyes set on. So fast forward a few years from that, at around the age of 20, I was at that point where I'm like, okay, it's possible. These cars are now legal in America. Canada has it a lot better. They have a 15-year rule for importing the cars, so they had the R32s like a decade before we did here in the US. But once the car became legal stateside, it was my time. At the time, I actually took a loan from the bank to purchase the car. I took a personal loan, and that's how I got the car. Owning a Nissan Skyline was such a unique experience. I remember going to car meets and people would just, their jaw would drop. They would see me pull in, they would take a few steps back, and they were like, hey, it's a Skyline. Oh, it's a Skyline. I had these really cool Kakashi plates on the car. My birthday is September 15, so for those of you who might not know Kakashi from Naruto, he also has a birthday on September 15th, so it just, at the time, it just felt like the cool thing to do. So I got those plates for the car, and it was fun. It was the first turbocharged car I've ever owned. That feeling of hitting boost for the first time in my life, and the power delivery was just so smooth. I had an Evo at some point along the line, and it's a different world. I compared those two cars very closely, actually owned them synonymously. The Evo was a four-cylinder turbo and the Skyline being an inline six turbo. The delivery of just the inline six was just so much smoother. Even though the Evo made more power, the Evo was more like, okay, you wind it out and then it punches you in the face later. Whereas the Skyline was more of like, you kind of don't realize how quick you're going. It's a smooth delivery from the bottom up. I had an R32 GTST. Wanted to clarify, since I did compare 2-liter to 2-liter, I did not have the RB26 GTR, which I guess you could argue that was my true dream car, but just the feeling of being able to own a Nissan Skyline R32 at age 20 when no one else had one, it was great. It's something that I don't think I can ever experience that again. You wish you could take a time machine and go back to relive certain things, but don't be sad it ended. Be happy that it happened, right? So I got the car for $16,000 back in 2016. The way it was is I went to this dealership called Japanese Classics. The price that I paid for the car was out the door pricing. I just had to register it in Illinois. So that in total ended up costing me $16,000. If you guys want to see, my reaction and my whole process of when I actually did acquire the car, I'll link that video in the description. It's out there on YouTube. I have that documented, the whole process of hopping in the car, just driving through the US, going to places like Cincinnati and driving through other parts of the South to get to Virginia, pick up the car. It's out there, so Definitely check it out if you'd like to. So I owned the Skyline for a few years, and at the time, my brother and I, we got into a discussion regarding purchasing a Lamborghini Gallardo. I think the Gallardo purchase was back in, we got it in 2019. So I did end up selling the Skyline, and then we bought the Lamborghini. I will make a separate video just on the Lambo. So stay tuned for that one. With all the great memories that the Skyline had, I will tell you this much though. Having owned the Nissan Skyline and having owned the Lamborghini, you would think that the Lamborghini was an upgrade. But for me personally, the enjoyment that I got from driving the Nissan was just, I couldn't compare it. I couldn't compare the two. Sure, the Lambo was faster and it turned its fair share of heads, but the Skyline was in a different game of itself. So the golden question, do I regret buying the Nissan Skyline? I don't. I don't regret buying the car. However, I do feel like it wasn't the right time for me to buy one of those. I wasn't ready in life to buy a Nissan Skyline. I was young, and as I got older, and as I'm still continuing to learn as I grow older, that there's a time and place for everything. And I feel like when you want to treat yourself in life and own nice things, it comes with a time and place. You have to enjoy stuff through different stages of life. I didn't earn the right to buy a Skyline. I took out a loan to buy the car. At the time, I was in college and I was making some other irresponsible decisions as well financially. And looking back, I don't have the Nissan Skyline anymore. To be honest with you, it was a little bit outside of what I could even maintain at the time. The car had repairs and, it's an older car. When you buy these older Japanese cars, there's a lot that goes into kind of getting them back to factory spec, if you will. You have to spend a lot of that money up front because you have to realize these cars are like 30 years old at this point. So I didn't have that type of funding at age 20. Sure, I acquired the keys to the car and had it in my garage, but everything else that came with the experience of Skyline ownership, I just wasn't ready for it at that time in life. So yes, I am very grateful that I got to own my dream car at such a young age, and I do miss it. I think about it a lot, and I'd love to own a Skyline again. I'd probably, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'd go for an R33 because that one's just kind of grown on me. I know that the next time I do get behind the wheel of a Skyline, it'll be the right time, and I'll make sure that I account for every other thing in my life that needs to be in place before I can make a decision like that. If you're young and watching this video, or even if you're someone that's at a later stage in life and you have a dream car, I want you to acquire that car. I think it's a beautiful thing to finally be able to own your dream car, but do know that there's other things in life that are so much more important. Being able to sleep peacefully at night, making sure that you make the right financial decisions, and put yourself in a place in life where you can enjoy that car. Any hiccups that come up, any unforeseen maintenance, you can comfortably afford. That's when you're going to truly enjoy the ownership of that car, and when you're going to feel like you've earned it now. You can take it out on the weekends, you can go cruise with your friends and whatnot. It's going to come with a certain territory, and you have to create that territory for yourself. This is always so sad to tell people, but I sold that thing for pennies. I sold it for $10,000. The Lambo deal was just lined up, and I had to get rid of the Skyline, and I let it go. In the grand scheme of things, I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I wanted to, but that's okay, because like I said, I know deep down that there's that desire in my heart to get one again. Hopefully so. Once that happens, I'll be in a better place in life to truly enjoy it and value it even more than I had when I was younger. Just wanted to make this quick video for anybody that might have a dream car in mind or is at that stage where they're wanting to purchase a car. I wish you luck. I hope it goes well for you. But just keep some of these things in mind. Life happens. There's so many other things that might hold a higher level of priority for you. And take care of those things first. Once you take care of those things, it's going to feel even more sweeter when you can treat yourself. I currently drive a 2007 Mercedes E550. I love that car. But before that, I drove a beater car for a while. I drove a Volkswagen Jetta because at some point along the line, and next video. Next video I'll dive into my whole story with cars and the situation with the Lambo, the Skyline, some of the other cars I've owned, how I ended up in the Benz and everything else. I drove a beater car for like 2 to 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. I drove a beater car. I stopped enjoying cars. I stopped going to car meets. I missed that feeling. I felt disconnected from the car community. It's a reason why I stopped posting on my first channel, which was regarding cars, because that connection with cars just ceased to exist for me. It took a while before I could reconnect with that side of myself. And by playing games like this where, I can just slide, drift, and enjoy it, it's helping me really reconnect with that. And now I'm at that place in my life where I have the Mercedes. I love V8s. I have a project car. Maybe I'll reveal that one as well. It's also a V8. That's a hint. But I can enjoy these things now. And it's sad because car culture isn't really what it used to be anymore. The whole going to car meets and even some of the people that you see on YouTube, some of these big car YouTubers, I won't name them here, but it's different. It's different than what we knew car culture to be 5 to 10 years ago. But it's something we love and we keep it alive how we can. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I plan on making more videos like this in the future, so definitely stay tuned. My name is Sam Sauger, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.